everyone, it's Yuri, and today I am going to be filming the much anticipated Greenspaces haul number 2. This is my second order from Greenspaces and it arrived earlier today. It's probably been about 5 hours since it's arrived on my doorstep and I've been really anxious to open it, but I had a bunch of meetings and other things I needed to take care of first. So hopefully those 5 hours didn't do much. It has been in transit for a little bit over a week. Somewhere between 7 to 9 days is how long it took for me to get these plants from Greenspaces in Indonesia over to me in San Francisco Bay Area. So that is what's inside here. And again, with this package, I don't know if you've seen my last video. If you haven't, I would highly recommend that you watch it. Those plants were gorgeous. I am really nervous about this one. I've seen some recent videos where the plants, not necessarily from Greenspaces, but plants in general that are being imported, have been coming in really dry and shriveled or soggy and gross. So that's always a risk that you take when you're importing plants, and I'm hoping that this package is just as beautiful as the very first package I got from Greenspaces. I wanted to make this order as well because I feel like I can't give a proper review with just one shipment. I mean, even 2 shipments, to be honest, maybe I get lucky twice. But it's not quite good enough to really be able to vouch for Greenspaces, but I think the prices are pretty good for what you get, and they have a pretty awesome selection if you can catch them when they're restocking. So yeah. I do want to point out this cool thing with DHL is that it does say that there's perishable plants in here and that it should be priority shipped. DHL is the shipping provider for the last order I did as well. And with that, Wolf has joined us. Wolfie, are you gonna join us for this? Okay. Artie's gonna join us too. Artie doesn't really like it when Wolfie gets attention. Oh man, okay, well, he has been herded out. Cool, let's begin. I don't know where to open it. Okay, it smells kind of green. You all know I like smelling things, apparently. It's been a recurring theme in my YouTube channel. So this is what the box looks like. Inside they have these plants with different labels on them. You can get a sneak peek at what I'm gonna open. All right. Okay. So the first plant is gonna be this first one that you just saw. This is a Treubii Moonlight. And the roots are bundled up in here with this plastic, and it looks a little bit moist still, which is good. Let's look at the leaves. Great, wow. These are so pretty. It's called Moonlight because it looks like there's moonlight on the leaves. Well, the leaves look good and they feel healthy after a week of transit. Let's check out the roots. What are you doing? What do you think? Do you approve? So Greenspaces wrapped their last shipment this way as well, where they had paper on the top part and then toilet paper on the bottom, or tissue paper on the roots. And then you just unwrap it like this. It looks like they are sticking with their packaging method, and honestly the last shipment I got from them was great, so I would keep it the same too if I were them. I got impatient and ripped some of the roots off. I should have unwrapped it slowly, so that was my bad. Got some nice healthy roots in here. It actually looks like maybe it wasn't my bad. There are some roots sticking to the tissue paper and kind of peeling off. They have a little bit of sog to it, so like this part right here. I'm gonna trim that off. But besides that, there's all these nice white roots and they're gonna do great. There's plenty of them. Sweet. So this is the first plant and it looks good. I am excited for the next ones. So the next one that I see is the Vittarifolium. And I really love pendulum style philodendron. I have a pendulifolium from one of my first imports and I'm obsessed with it. It just put out a new leaf and it's just nicely hanging over. Wow. Wow, this leaf is perfect and it kind of has a satin sheen to it. It's so cool. There's a few leaves with some kind of chunks missing from it. It's a little dry. I'll probably lose them. But this one leaf is killer. So pretty. And they just kind of like flop over. They look cute and they look great hanging from a basket or something. Okay. Let's take a look at the roots though. That's what matters. Alright, so this is the root system. It's actually pretty small, but you can see that these are some pretty thick, chunky roots. Yeah, these are some pretty chunky roots. There's some smaller ones here that are thinner, but for the most part, like this entire, all of these are really thick roots. There's a little bit of, I think, root rot starting on some of these small bottom ones down here, but for the most part, all the roots look pretty good and healthy. So I'm just gonna give this a little trim, but we should be good besides that. I was expecting a bit more development in the root system, but we'll see how well it supports these leaves. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. Sometimes you'll get, you know, the beautiful top part, and then you'll see like even up here, the roots starting to look like all of them are dying, but these look pretty healthy aside from just this one little segment. So I'm pretty good with that, and we'll see how big the root system even gets with these. If you know whether or not the Vittarifolium is supposed to have a big root system, given these many leaves, let me know in the comments below. This is my first time owning one of these plants. But I'm really happy with it. Like that one, this one leaf, just really making it for me. You can't tell in the camera how pretty it is, but when you look at it, it just has this like satin sheen that catches the light. It's so pretty. Oh, all right. 2 out of 2 so far, so good. This one is probably the thing that I'm least excited about. This is a Subhastatum. I already own this plant because I purchased this plant from Thailand from my New Life Tropicals order, which I did make a video of, so you can see me unwrapping it there. But it's possible that this is a different species of Subhastatum. I've noticed that there's some that are more red on the back sides of the leaves and some that are more green. So we'll see what type this is. It wasn't clear from the photos. Okay. This one looks slightly different than the one that I have. It's a little bit less red on the bottoms. Here's a new leaf, and the leaves are a little bit wider. It's possible that this is just an older plant because the stalk is actually much thicker than the other one that I have. So the other one, when I unpacked it, the backs were kind of like this darker red, but just more solid throughout the whole backside, and I was really surprised by how pretty it was when I unwrapped it. I'm not feeling that with this one, but it is an older plant, so there's that. I don't know why I bought 2 of these. All right, look at those roots. It's really long. Yeah, that's quite a lot of roots. I don't really have much else to say about that one because, like I said, that is the one that I'm least excited about. But I'm happy that it's home. All right, moving on. This one is an Alocasia Reginae. I have never really heard of this plant before, but the photos look beautiful on the website, and I Googled some additional photos of it to see if I wanted it, and the answer was yes. It's pretty cool. Wow. Okay, so I think this leaf is probably more representative of what the leaves will look like. These look like this one looks like it's yellowing. And this one looks like it hasn't hardened off yet. So it still has a little bit of color to gain, but this leaf is what I wanted, and it feels kind of leathery and pretty awesome. There's some weird black spotting on the stalk, but I think that's probably normal. I see it on every single stalk. There was a new leaf growing out of it, but it's unclear whether it'll make it through this transit. But I think this one is pretty similar to like the Scalfrum or the Silver Dragon. Just has a different shape and a different color, and I really like it. It's gonna go right next to my dragon scale. And I love how Alocasia bottoms look. They're just kind of fun. You'll see what I mean if you've never seen an unrooted Alocasia. I think this is the first Alocasia that I imported. Usually I guess they're pretty tricky to import, really easy to rot. It does smell a bit stronger down here than the other ones. It's not necessarily a good sign. It just stinks more and more as I'm unwrapping more. So there's a little bit of root rot on this little guy. It's like brown and soggy. I'll probably trim this a little bit. But lots of roots, and what I wanted to show you, look at these cute little roots sticking out. These little white nub things. I think what's interesting about Alocasia is the stalk. So the stalk where these little white things are coming out of, they'll send runners, they'll send more bulbs. This is considered a little bulb. And I just think they're so cute. So this stinks a little bit, but I think it's because some of the roots are exhibiting some root rot signs. I'll probably stick this in some hydrogen peroxide just for a tiny bit and then repot it. The hydrogen peroxide apparently helps to heal some of the rot, kill some of the bacteria or fungi that might be causing the rot. I don't remember which one it is, but something is growing in the wet root system, which causes it to sog and rot off. So, it smells. Cool. So the next one is another Treubii, but this one is black instead of Moonlight. I kind of wish I opened the Alocasia last. It smells. So the leaves on this one are definitely sadder than the Moonlight. It's not in as good quality as the Moonlight, but let's look at the roots. This one leaf is essentially what I would hope all the leaves would look like. Nice and shiny and dark. I hope the roots are good though, because then it'll pump out new leaves quickly. And I can get rid of some of these sad ones that it came with. So this one, unlike the other Treubii, is a series of rooted cuttings. So every single leaf, except for this one, which has 2 leaves, but we're gonna lose this leaf right now anyways. They're all rooted separately. So I don't know if I should be happy that I have 4 Treubii blacks instead of just 1 plant, or if I should be a little bit confused that I got rooted cuttings instead of a plant that I ordered. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I feel like happy maybe, and also confused. I could theoretically plant this all into the same pot and then it would be a more full plant that way. But I might just grow them separately. I'm not sure yet. This one's definitely my favorite though. Alright, I guess I have 4 plants. Cool. Or 4 potential plants. They're 4 rooted cuttings. I got excited about this. This is the plant that is the reason why I made the purchase. They have this plant on and off on Greenspaces, and every time I have enough other plants that I want to order to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna get this plant and the other ones, now I have an actual order, this one always sells out. So this time I was able to time it properly. This is the Monstera Standleyana, or Cobra. And it's actually smaller than I was hoping for. So let's see. Ooh. Ooh, look at those sad leaves. This leaf is great though, this one leaf, but there's 3 of these that are browning and sad. I'm gonna clip these off, actually. We're just gonna cut it off right now. Okay, well, now it looks much better. Got these 3 leaves going. I hope that's not a bad sign of what's down here. The root system is really small, so I'm assuming this is a rooted cutting and not really a full plant. Yep, this is just a rooted cutting. You can see that there's roots, but they're not super developed. And the leaves that fell off are from the bottom. Like, it was gonna fall off whether I was gonna cut it or not. So we'll just take those off for now. And they look pretty good otherwise, I have to say. But definitely not what I would expect when ordering a full plant. But I'm okay with it. Mostly because, like I said, I've been trying to buy this plant for a while now. There is some root rot. I'll have to just clip these off. But for the most part, it's gonna be okay. Okay, so I'm down to my last, and I've been looking for these plants for a while, so I really hope that they're in good condition. They're both the biggest packages in this shipment. All right, so this one is a Paraiso Verde. Wow. The coloring on this plant is so cool. I'm a little bit worried because there's this dotting right here. Actually, well, I'm gonna cut this off because it's ugly, but I think that I've seen this pattern on some of my other plants. It's not scale or anything. It just looks like the plant's a bit dry. But look at that pattern. It's so cool. And apparently with this plant, if the variegation sort of starts fading, and the variegation for this plant is this kind of soft texture. If it doesn't get enough light, apparently the leaves can go back to just being more of like a solid green, like this splotch. But imagine that across the whole leaf. And what you can do is you just put it in way brighter light, and apparently this type of coloring should come back. But I've never owned this plant before, that's just what I've seen online. And I'm really excited. You can see some air roots up here as well. So it might be possible for me to chop it off right here and just have 2 of these plants from the get-go. But let's see what the roots look like underneath here. Also, that would mean I have to keep this ugly leaf. The leaf honestly is okay, it's the stalk that looks kind of weird because it's dotted. Okay, so the air roots actually are just this long. So I could stick them in water to grow them a little bit longer and then propagate it. I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I guess it depends on the rest of the roots. If the bottom system is good, then I might, because why not? I love propagating. This root's a little dry though, actually, this top one. Wow. That's some thick chunky roots down here. There's actually, so I could potentially cut this twice. I could cut it again right here. Right here, because look at this root system coming out from this node. It's pretty developed. And the roots are pretty good, I would say. These chunky ones are pretty good. Am I gonna have 3 plants? Maybe? Might do it. I really love this guy. I feel like I was so lucky so far. So this one It's the one I was most excited about in my entire order. This one's also the most likely to be in bad shape. So I am a little bit nervous about opening it, but we gotta do it. And if it's in bad shape, hopefully we can rescue it. But our last plant of this unboxing is the Anthurium Magnificum. And it's quite large. This is definitely the biggest plant in the order. This is definitely a big boy. All right, here we go. Whoa. Sorry, y'all. I got the good side. Look. Wow. I feel like I've just said wow this entire video. Look at this. And there's two just beautiful leaves. Wow. I really hope the leaves flatten out a little bit because they're curled from shipping. Wow. I don't even know what to do with this right now. It's so pretty. Oh, man. I just feel so lucky right now that my second shipment from Greenspaces came beautifully. I'm there like, look at this. This is so great. Wow. But like I always say, let's check the root system because that is more important than the leaves that this plant comes with. And I'm so happy about this. This is so cool. None of my Anthurium have huge leaves like this one. They're all still pretty little. And I was expecting a smaller plant when I ordered this, because this plant's really hard to find. The Magnificum is really hard to get to. I don't know if this happens to you when you're getting plants in the mail and you don't know what to expect, but my heart rate is so high right now. I should have all this adrenaline from how awesome this plant is. So please be good, roots. Please be good to me. Oh, they're white. That's good. They're not brown and rotting on that little tiny peak. Gotta see the rest of it. Look at these beautiful roots. They're not all perfect. But look at that. This is a real full-size, beautiful Magnificum. And the thing that I mentioned about they're not perfect is there is this brown root here. I can't tell if it's just dry. It doesn't feel, I think it's just dry. Doesn't feel like it's rotting. Though it might be. And the chunk here on this section is a little bit squishy, but it's not super squishy. The rest of the chunk seems okay. Yeah. Wow. I'm so stoked, if it wasn't obvious. This is my baby now. I'm going to protect it. I'm just gonna hold this while I finish out this video because it's just so pretty. But this is, like I said, my second package from Greenspaces, and I would definitely order again. I am definitely going to order again. And it's possible that on my next shipment things don't work out as well, but Honestly, 2 out of 2, I'm in. It looks great, the customer service was great, and I just can't beat this. This is ridiculous. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and you want to see more of my future plant imports and just general videos about houseplants. Honestly, I'm forgetting that there's plants next to me that I unpacked. You know, there were like 7 or so plants before this. Alright, I guess that's it for this video. Thank you, and I will see you next time.